this is episode 29 of This Isn't a Date, but I Wish It Was with my friend Ferrah.
Yes, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course, she's my Cancer baby angel, Taurus moon, Leo rising.
Facts.
We're twins in the Leo rising department.
And I do think when we go out together, that definitely compliments because we both are
yes.
a little bit of a force when we go out.
It's like little fairies.
In the best way. Sparking joy everywhere we go.
Yes. My favorite memory, we went to Still Liquor. I love that place. She introduced me. The DJ, shout out to you. I love the DJ. But we go and it's dead, and I don't remember who we even went with, but we're the only ones on the dance floor.
Oh, this is not the first time this is happening to me.
And every time we go out, me and her are dancing the whole night, and I love it.
Facts on facts. And yeah, DJ Raph over at Still Liquor, who's actually a good friend. I just saw him recently, but he's the best. Actually, I went out for his birthday because I'm not drinking this year, so I went out for his birthday, dead sober. Haven't ever been still dead sober. Side note. And so then
was it still fun?
Yes, it was, but that's because of Raph is an amazing DJ and just like very intuitive.
The best DJ.
Honestly, one of the better DJs I've ever been to.
He plays all the throwbacks. But we talked about DJs that one time, remember? If the DJ is shitty, we're leaving.
I can't be in an environment where the DJ, it sets the vibe, it sets the tone for the entire experience, but he crushes it, and that's why I can literally dance all night, and I will want to dance, and that's why that place is literally down the street, like wrapped around. Anyways, it was his birthday. He's a Capricorn. Side note.
I love a Capricorn. I know. Daddy.
We can't talk about that. But he was there, and I met his mom and like his whole family, and it was so cute. Yeah, he is the sweetest.
Shout out to you, best DJ in Seattle.
All for you, DJ Raph. I will, holler DJ Raph. If you haven't been to Still Liquor on a Friday, Saturday night in Seattle, you should go. You will not regret it. It will be a really good time. And never, ever. Never have I ever.
Don't wear your hair straight, but you'll have a fun time because you're going to sweat your ass off.
You're going to be sweating bullets. It's going to be packed. You're going to be running up against people that non-stop.
Grinding on strangers.
Speak for yourself. No, I'm sorry. I feel like it. Okay, keep going.
Funny. But yes, we bonded over astrology when we first met.
Yes, we did.
We met at a Live Boldly event, and I feel like we both realized we were Leo risings, or like bonded over trauma, which is like my favorite thing to bond.
Why am I not surprised? Well, and I think we started talking. It was also one of those events. It was like a women-led event where we were supposed to it was about connection and like getting into your body and living authentically. So I think we just like started talking about it, and obviously that opens up like a whole door of different conversations. Yes. But also, I think the one part that I absolutely adore about you and just love about you as a human is like we can talk about super serious stuff, but like with a sense of humor to go along with it. So like as we were talking about childhood trauma, we also were like kind of joking around about it. I think baby daddy trauma and like all the things.
Haha, we have daddy issues.
So it was kind of like we got into it, but then it's like real talk without it being too heavy, which I feel like is a very delicate line to walk.
Yes, like you don't have to be serious. I mean, it's us being serious through everything, but it's not like boring or like I grew up in a church and everything's like you got to be like reverent, and that was just never my vibe. No, I'm like, why can't I laugh during church?
You're like, can I be giggling in the back? Giggle squad for I got giggling squad. But I was like, giggles. I will always be the like goofiest person in the room, just like chuckling about some random shit that like probably no one else is paying attention to, and I'm just like laughing about it because I'm like, this is so silly, no one's paying attention, and now I want to bring it up.
That's why I always joke you kind of invite me to funerals because I'll find something funny. Like,
too soon.
I'm so sorry.
I'm just joking.
Wait, back to astrology though.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I have a question. Do you have a dream big three for a man? Like, if you could pick your big three in a man, what would it be? Oh my gosh,
you're calling me out right now. I'm feeling a little uncomfortable about it. Because obviously I do.
Obviously, I've dreamed about this for years.
I've been dreaming about this for a long time. But
it's written on my door.
I've written in my journal. But the only reason why I say this is because I used to have one when I was younger.
Okay.
And so then when I got older, I would say that shifted a little bit. And honestly, I went through a recent Capricorn thing, and I then realized I might like Capricorns more than I thought.
Really?
And I've never even known a Capricorn before. So that's why I just like didn't know about it, and I never engaged with one in that way. So I think for me that was like, oh, maybe this daddy energy might be exactly what I'm looking for, and I didn't even know I wanted it. Because before I would say Taurus, Sag.
Taurus men are too boring for me, but what's insane is
Sag
Taurus
moon
women,
though. Sag moon.
Crazy. It brings out like crazy.
Yeah, I was like, you get the kind of boring, but that little spark of unpredictability that I fuck with. I fuck with that combination.
The unpredictability.
And that's the Sag moon. They're the most spontaneous, fun, playful signs.
Yes.
And then the moon, that's like actually how they approach life, and they're a little bit more playful and romantic endeavors. I love Sag moons. I know I have so many Sag moons in my life. So I always want, like, so that was what, and I've actually met two men that were Taurus Sages back in college. And yes,
like,
long time ago. Well, no,
She's 21.
I know. I'm only 21. I'm 37, just to be clear about my age.
Age is just a number.
I know. I was like, I'm fine, but that's because everyone thinks I'm younger. So I'm always like, no, I'm
hot as hell.
Well, thank you. You can thank the Leo rising. But I would say that it is. So when I was younger, I met them, and it was like, I saw them from across the room. It was like instantaneous. And like, we just had such a strong connection so immediately. I've never experienced that with anybody. And both times it was with the same. So I met two different guys. They had the same body frame, same body shape. It was like same personality, same connection. And then I found out both of them were the same astrology. And I was like, what? And both of them actually were not American. One was from the Philippines. He was actually like Dutch, but he lived in the Philippines. He grew up in the Philippines. And the other one was British. So neither of them actually lived in the area, but but it was like very instant. So then after that, I was like, well,
I want you.
I want you, but in here, can I find one of you that live in the area?
I'll take the third one, please, the American.
But I have so many Geminis, and half of the men I've actually dated and been with have been Geminis. And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing.
That's hilarious, because I've always said I go through phases where the universe sends me certain signs or certain placements.
100%.
And right now it's Gemini placements.
Oh,
and
really?
I always said, you can find proof on my page. I'm like, I'll never date a Gemini. And I just met one, and I'm like,
but one, what do you think the lesson is within that? And two,
I have to look it up, because I've never attracted Gemini. So I'm like, now I need to learn this lesson. I went through every other sign. I've gone through that stage.
Yes, I remember.
Right now is Gemini.
Really?
And it's funny because so I said I'd never date them, but then I meet these great people, and I'm like, how can I write you off based off of my bad experience with like two of you out of the whole world?
That's a good point. Yeah.
And I'm also like, I'm not the same person I was when I was 21, 22.
And you are a Libra, which would make sense. That actually would be a really great match.
They're really fun.
They're
really
super
crazy,
fun.
And I like crazy.
I can attest to the fact that is the case. Because I've dated. I was married to a Gemini.
A long time.
A Gemini Sag.
Yeah.
Which is the most unpredictable, uncontrollable combination.
And
you
it's
can
like, it's just.
But he
exciting.
was a Capricorn rising.
And so it brings them back down to earth.
Brings them back down to earth, or at least it appears as if he brings them back down to earth.
Sometimes they're down there.
Yeah, but but we were together for 14 years, and I would say, and it really did work for a really long time. So I actually really like Geminis. I do. I like how like interesting they are, how quick-witted they are.
They're so deep.
But they're so sensitive. They're actually very, very, very.
My son's a Gemini rising.
Yeah, and they're like really like sweethearts. They never really grow up. That's the one thing about them.
I love that
they're very
them
playful.
And Aquariuses act like kids, and I love it.
Yeah, I do. I think there's a lot of positive qualities of Geminis.
Yes.
That's what I was saying. I was like, it's actually the sign I probably attract the most within my life in like romantic sense. But I always thought I would be with an earth sign, because my moon is in Taurus.
It is.
And that goes really well with the combination for sun sign and an earth sign.
Mm-hmm.
And then also I just like how grounded they are and how predictable they are, because like in actuality I'm a Venus Cancer, so I really love consistency.
Take care of someone.
I want to take care of someone, and I want someone who's going to be super like secure and like solid. Like I don't have to think twice about where they're at. So yes.
I was like,
have you ever thought about your perfect match? Oh, well, little did you know, I've done in-depth analysis on multiple different combinations.
Years of research, and I've come to the conclusion I won't be telling you.
And I'm still unsure.
I know every time I joke around about this, but anytime I've asked the universe for something, I get it, but I'm like, I don't want that. For some reason, manifesting men is the easiest thing in the world for me, and it's really annoying because I want money to be the easiest thing in the world. But I did see a lady, and she's like, when you fix your relationship issues, money will be easy. And I was like, oh, I know that. Fuck off. Whatever.
Oh, but I think it's all about receiving, right?
Yes.
Do you think that could have some connection to it?
I was like very much in my masculine and like, I'll take care of everything. And it's more like if you force everything, how are you going to receive? And like, if you want this ease... You're forcing everything. You're like, whatever. I knew this already. I don't want to hear it.
But no, I say this because it's such a big lesson for me too. We've talked about because we're both very, I think, more dominant women in general.
So and we both need someone to overpower us. Otherwise, we're just like la 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 la.
But we have to be able to trust someone. We have to know, and they have to be like
you
man
have to
enough.
Earn that from us.
Oh, 100%. And they have to be man enough to be able to hold that space, but then also soft enough to let us still be in our masculine a certain portion of the time. Yes. Because I still feel very comfortable in that space, but also I want someone that I can trust to be able to do that. So absolutely,
it's out there. We got it.
Girl, I'm like 10 years older than you, so you gotta. I'm still working on it, and it's something we do got it. We're working on it, but I've been in relationship and partnership for long periods of time too, and I would say there's always a delicate balance and a dance between it all too. So yeah. So
tell me, friend, you mentioned earlier you're doing a year sober.
Oh yeah.
What inspired it?
I'm so glad you asked. You sent me the questions and this was included in it. I was like, because I haven't really talked about it very much.
Really?
No, well, like to my friends and like family and stuff, but like other than that, I haven't really like publicly announced it just because like I don't know. People pay attention to my presence on social media more than I necessarily even like think about it more often than not. So when I say I'm doing something, they're like, I haven't learned about this on social media, and I'm like. Okay, but I'm
a very in-depth person. Like, you see like this much of my life.
You see like a sliver of all the things.
We don't know each other.
But I do want people. That's a good thing that I want people to do know that they have a dose of me, and I feel authentically when I'm showing up. Anywho, but so I am. What prompted this? I actually was dabbling in it all of last year. So I was attempting to be sober.
I was attempting like months at a time? Or
So I would not drink for like a couple of months here and there all throughout the year. Mm-hmm. So I did it like 4 times for a month. I did actually 4 months of last year. So once a quarter. For the Taurus moon systematic person in me, I was like, once a quarter, I'm going to take off a month.
That's so funny. I have a Taurus placement friend, ex-friend, but she did the same thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like we need the consistency. I need a routine. I'm a very routine oriented person, so like for me, like I need to know like what to expect to a certain extent. And so I did that, but. If you try this, it will backfire if you then jump in thinking that you can do this, drink or do the same thing that you could otherwise. So that would take off a month, and then I would go out, and then I'd be like, oh, let me take like 2 shots, and I'd be like drunk because I hadn't drank. My tolerance was completely gone.
Yes.
And so but then it was like the whole point of me doing that was to like be able to slow down and just be like just more like, oh, I'll just have like a drink or something like that. I just wanted to be more aware of it.
Is it more like testing your... What's the word I'm looking for?
Not like boundaries, limits.
Yeah,
it's like almost like, limits. Or even creating like more self-control. Self-control. Self-control.
Self-control is the word I was thinking for.
Not my strong suit. No, I'm actually really good about it. And so that's the thing is I'm like, I don't really ever drink. So like, but when I do go out, I like to drink. And so that's the difference. And so like, I will not drink for weeks. And then I'll be like, oh, I'm going out with the girls. I'm going to have a couple cocktails.
Right.
So that's usually when I leaned into it. So I don't know. I just felt like there wasn't a good balance with me trying those like breaks, if you will, last year. And a couple times where to be perfectly honest, I feel like it became a thing where people, if they wanted to go out there, they would reach out to me, or like I became the going out person. And I was like,
I mean, it makes sense. You're a very social person. Everywhere we go, you know someone, and you do know how to have a good time. But still, at the same time, it's like you're not a party promoter.
No,
you're not like a club promoter.
And like not at all. And I was like, that's it. So then in my mind, I was like, I feel like that's. So we'll go back to astrology. So my astrology was actually also leaning in the pattern and co-star and everything was like, you need to change the way that you're being represented within your community. Oh. So it was like reevaluating how you're showing up in these spaces, because what you're actually meant to be known for is very different than what you're known for in this time in their life.
Was there like a specific moment where you're like, I am known for this and I don't want to be known for this anymore?
Yes. And so it just kept coming up, and on it was like my family, everyone, because they're like, you're always doing something, you're always going out. Again, social media plays a huge role within that. But I was just like, because I'm not necessarily posting me like laying on my couch doing nothing, which is also a big portion. Like I rest a lot. Yes. And so like, I think people don't see that, because I'll say like, why would I like?
Well, yeah, because usually you post your highlight reels. You post like going out or a selfie because you're out. You're not like at your... We all have ugly days where you like to stay home and look ugly. You're not taking a picture looking ugly.
Which maybe I need to start doing. Like I actually consciously started posting things of me sitting at home doing nothing. I was like, I'm just like doing nothing tonight. Or like
I am not a party animal.
And like, yeah, because I was like, how do I communicate this without like, anyway, so so that was the moment. And so I was like, I need to shift this. How do I shift this? And so I just became more mindful about it. And in all honesty, I was also drinking, and like, I was so I went through a job change during that time as well. I was working a lot. And so I was like, I actually don't have the capacity to even really go out right now, because I can't be hungover. I always have something. I'm always to a certain extent responsible for something. And there's in a moment's notice I might get called into something. So like, I honestly didn't have the space to do it anymore. So the combination of both, I was like, in typical extreme Ferrah, I was like, I'm taking an entire year off. And everyone's like, wait, you're not going to drink for a year? Like, and everyone's mad. Everyone is upset about it, to be fair. Like, I just went out for my niece's birthday this weekend, and my sister was like, you're not going to drink at all? And I was like, no, I'm just going to take, like, I'm taking a year off. I'm not joking. Like, I'm being for real about this. And they're like, oh, you're so much more fun when you, like, drink a little bit. I was like, I am so fun. I'm still fun. They're like, yeah, but Ferrah, when you have a couple drinks in you and you're in the club, like,
but that's a club.
That's a club. I was like, it's a strength.
But it's a strength. I have gone out with you and we've just done mushrooms and had just as much fun.
Okay, and I didn't take mushrooms that night, which I didn't microdose, which I think might, if it's in that true setting, I think I might need like have to throw that into it, because I'm actually kind of a worrywart and a very like in control and type of person.
We had this conversation. I feel like we were in a club having this conversation on the dance floor. We did.
I was like, little do you know, unless I'm like really like in the zone of something, like I'm actually always analyzing everyone that's in the room.
I've noticed that about tourist placements.
Yeah.
Tourist placements, if they don't want to be there, they do not want to be there. Like they have to be in the mindset to do it, and they're always, you can see it on their face when they want to go home, they want to go home.
Like, and I can't force it. I can never fake it. If I'm not vibing, I'm not vibing. Like, I just like, I need to just remove myself from it. Like, and I know that, and I just shouldn't be out in this moment. Funny. So, all long story short, I'm sober for a year. I've been sober. I'm on my 2-month marker, was just on.
Yeah, it's literally March, which is crazy.
Yeah, but that was like, it's been 2 months. I was like, I have 10 more months to go.
But this year, like, we had January, which was 6 months long, February, which was 2 days long, and this year's gonna fly by.
I think so. I think so. I'm going to a bachelorette party in Mexico, so that'll be interesting. And then I have a wedding. One of my best friends is getting married in Whistler, and so I've already told her she's on board for it. She's really supportive. She was actually, honestly, I had a couple of conversations with her about it, and she was the one that was like really supportive of it. It's one of my best friends since childhood. And so she was like, honestly, I think it might be a good idea for you just to take a break. Like, she's like, I don't think there's anything going on, but like, it is just like, what does my life look like if there's no alcohol included in it? And if I'm not spending time and energy and money on alcohol, what am I putting it towards? And that's ultimately why I decided to stop, because I have bigger dreams that I want to accomplish.
I love that.
So yeah.
It's been good so far?
It's been good.
Love that.
Very productive.
Oh yeah.
I've been crushing it.
When I take a night off, or I go home from work, don't have a drink or whatever, I just have a sober weekend, I'm like, I am better than everyone. so protective.
I feel so, because you do feel like a piece of shit when you're hungover. There's nowhere, especially as you get older, it's
feeling
worse.
in the world.
And you also, I get a little anxious, I'm in just a weird space.
I get brain fog.
Yeah, and I'm
I feel really stupid.
Yes. So now that I've eliminated that, I'm always on my shit because and I can't, and even if I go out, so I actually still do go out with my friends. Yeah. So and family and stuff. So I'm out in those spaces. I'm just sober now. Yeah. And so, which is nice because I'm DD. I can drive everyone around. I don't mind doing that. And then also I just the next morning, it's nothing happened. So
I love it.
Thanks.
That perfectly leads into, I feel like you're the ideal person when I want to talk about this, because you get it. I feel like we've always been on similar wavelengths, but just the balance between being a very spiritual, intuitive person, and we're both very in tune, while also having a human experience. Because I feel like me, when I first got into spirituality, I almost felt like I had to cut everything off and live in this spirituality 24/7. And then I don't remember how I realized it, but I was like, I'm here to have a human experience. If I
100%.
avoid hard people or hard experiences, that's not the point of this journey or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. But yeah, I just want to talk about how you find balance in that, or being in this world but not in this world. Is that that makes sense?
Yeah. No, absolutely. I once read something and and I think we've both talked about spirituality quite a bit, and it's a huge part of who I am, and it's shifted my life back in my early 20s. I went through such a huge transformation within my world that I've never looked back, because I recognize the power of my thoughts and my perspective and how that shifts everything. And you can find joy in every single moment if you choose to. And life is meant to be explored and enjoyed, and it's meant to be connection. Connection should be the root of every interaction that you incorporate into your life, and also the intention behind it all. So in that way, I love to be able to connect to people, and that is also where I feel is one of my strengths. And so I love being able to do that, and I can only do that when I'm connected to myself. And so the deeper I'm connected to myself, the more that I'm able to connect with others. But I think that's why I was just thinking about this, and my spirituality has allowed me to be the most authentic and truest version of who I am, and then that and gives me the intuitive nature to be able to connect with something deeper within the other people around me too. And I love to be able to do that. But that's the human experience. So a part of that human experience is that not everyone's always happy. Not everyone's, we have dark days, we have dark moments, we have negative feelings,
all of
we have
these
negative
emotions are
thoughts.
valid.
Yeah, there's a spectrum that exists within us, and we're always kind of maneuvering our way through it. And there's a pendulum that's swinging back and forth, especially Cancer, who is feeling all the feels all the time. So I think for me in particular, my spiritual journey has often been more about me finding a balance within that, grounding into who I am, so that I'm able to show up fully. And that's so that I can have the human experience in a more harmonious state.
I love that.
So I was that's truly what's always kind of fueled my spiritual experience and my drive for it. And also I want to feel good while I'm here on this earth. I don't want to be in turmoil every day. It's not
meant to be, like hell.
No. And it can be, and that's also a part of it, but can I honest, it's the manifesting generator in me. I'm how can I make this easier and quicker for other people to understand? So it's and how can I make it easier and quicker for me to be able to come from a negative experience or a negative space and switch back into my homeostasis. Let's switch back into gears, and I want to be riding. I love to be I want to feel peak performance. I truly do. I want my mind to be clear. I want to be present. And I truly believe that enlightenment is just being 100% present 100% of the time. And that's when you're in the embodiment of the well of love that lives within you. And that's when you're sharing it and pouring it into the world around you and inspiring the people around you to do the same. So that was I feel they're interconnected in so many ways. I can disassociate. I can kind of drift off into la la land. Yeah. We can travel the astral plane sometimes, but we come back because there is, and I think being a mom requires me to do that as well, because you have to be present within, not just I got to be present for her life, what she's going through too, and to be able to connect with her. And I can't connect when I'm just floating in a cloud somewhere.
That was so beautiful.
Thank you.
I love it. We're going to switch to something super, super lighthearted.
You're like, depth. Let's line that shit back up. Where we're going.
So you guys need to all write that down and get that like tattooed on you, and then answer this for me. I'm going to make you play Fuck, Marry, Kill.
Oh my God. I didn't know this was a part of it. Did I? I must have missed this. Okay,
no,
I didn't.
Oh,
you didn't? No, I was going to say, wait, I don't.
Okay, I usually play a game every episode.
Okay, cool.
Okay, Fuck, Marry, Kill. You answer, and then everyone obviously listening answer. I don't care where you are at the gym, whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck, Marry, Kill. They're all cartoons. Kronk from Emperor's New Groove. David.
Okay.
David from Lilo and Stitch.
Okay, wait. David from I'm terrible with movies. Okay, keep
Lilo
going.
and Stitch is the one, the babysitter. He's in love with her. He works at like the beach stand.
Okay, keep going. Okay,
and
I know
then
you're
Frozone from Incredibles.
Frozone? Oh,
Frozone.
The Frozone. Okay, the best friend, right?
Yes. Frozone. Bald black man.
Yeah. Okay. Actually,
what's your answers?
Oh, I already know the answers. This is so easy. I was like, this is so easy. Okay, kill Kronk.
Obviously.
Yeah, I was like, he's
useless.
That's
Get him out of here.
That's fucked up. I would never want anyone to die, but this is what the game requires. Fuck, obviously the Lilo and Stitch guy.
Obviously.
Right? And
multiple
he was
times.
so sweet. I'm like flipping my hair back as I'm like thinking.
David.
And he was like, would help her out.
He's
and like he would always
pleaser.
show up. I know.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go.
And then you'd marry Frozone.
And marry Frozone for sure. He's like, he's a superhero. He was very responsible. He was really respectful to his wife. Remember, she's like, where are you going?
He has that but a little bit of attitude too.
Yeah, he's got a little, and he helped take out the kids. He was always very dependable. He was reliable, and he was fun. He had a little bit of flavor to him.
I love
Anyways,
this.
Mary for sure. Yeah,
good choices. Proud of your choices.
Thank you.
Wait, so we were just talking about the balance between spirituality and everything, but I feel like that totally ties into anger. And I'm curious how you deal with your anger, but also anger has such a bad rep especially for women. No angry woman. Or I grew up in a church where it's almost like you should just put your sweep your feelings under the rug.
Yeah.
And just be happy 24/7.
Yeah.
And it's almost like anger just has this negative label.
Yeah.
But it serves such a purpose when dealt with in a healthy way.
It's powerful.
Yes.
And you can make shit happen with
angry women change the fucking world.
Yeah, because if we're angry enough about something, you will have the passion to fuel you, third chakra, really lean into that in order to drive anything forward. You think about fire, transforming something, it comes with, you got to burn some shit up in order for it to disintegrate and then to start something new. So
but I also feel like angry women, for the most part, have the patience to deal with shit in the right way. Yeah. Whereas we've seen a lot of examples of angry men ruining their families, cheating. They don't have the patience. An angry woman is a scary woman.
Oh.
An angry woman is
an angry Ferrah is a scary woman. That's my ex-husband. But no, I do. I think that you're spot on about that. And I'm happy you brought this up because it's probably one of the hardest things for me to understand about myself and to actually be able to express in a healthy and constructive way.
Yeah.
Because along with my Taurus placement, as if anyone's familiar with astrology, Tauruses are very calm until they're not, and then they are bulls. They're bulls. Yeah, then they will literally crush you with their horns. So it's for me, learning how to utilize that and leaning into the power that it I can actually then drudge up because of the anger that I feel about something. Once I set my mind to something, and I'm a big believer in I love to be passionate about things, but from an excited, playful sense. And so I think you can achieve a lot in life and have a lot of fun doing it. I really, really 100% believe in that. But there's something when someone pisses you off, and it's but I'm not a vengeance person. I'm more of
you have no Scorpio placement.
I know. That is truly it. I don't I really don't.
I do.
I don't ever think about it afterwards. I don't hold on to it. I'm not vindictive in that way. I'm really
so you
not.
Don't hold grudges?
I don't really
what
hold grudges.
What is that like?
I know. Well, but because if you piss me the fuck off in that moment, I'm coming at you right in that time. I'm going to address it. We are going to talk about it. And I'm going to make you feel so fucking small about it that you will literally re-question your entire world afterwards. And I
love that for you.
That's something I'm working on internally. But weirdly enough, I only direct it towards men. So for women, I don't really get angry at women for some reason. I don't know why. I don't really ever get mad at women. I don't know if it's just because I grew up around all women.
That's funny. It's actually the opposite for me.
Really?
No. I get angry at men and close girlfriends if they fuck me over. I will lose my mind.
Well, and I think, but then my little Cancer crab comes out. I just get really hurt.
Oh, yeah.
So then I just get really sad. I feel really betrayed, and I just get really I go into my shell and I just remove myself. And for anyone that I've been really upset with, which few and far between, because I try to address things as they come up. And my friends know me to if something bothers me, I'm going to one of my girlfriends, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to be call them and be hey.
But good. That's a healthy friendship.
And that's truly how I look at it. It's hey, this happened last night. I didn't feel right about it. Can we talk about it really quick? Cause I just really want to go over it just so that we can clear the air. And so this doesn't fester into something else.
Yeah. Cause it's so common. You'll hear people and they'll be she bothered me in this way. And you're oh, did you talk about it? They're no. Yeah. But then it builds and builds and builds. And then you're mad at them 15 years later and they don't know why.
That is exactly how it works out. And so I usually will let things kind of pass. I think I don't really hold on to grudges. So some things can happen. I try not to take things personally. I try to follow the 4 agreements. So I do try not to take things personally. So I'll be mindful of that. But if I really feel slighted, if I really feel like someone hurt me, I am very direct in my delivery. And if I feel someone's been disrespectful to me multiple times over a long period of time, and then it's turned into I've addressed it, I've talked to you about it, I've brought it up, and you keep doing it, and now it feels you're almost doing it on purpose to fuck with me, that's when you get a different side.
There's no need for that friendship at that point.
And that is truly at my mind where it goes to where it's if I lose my shit on this person, I don't care if I ever see them again. And then I say the most out of pocket shit.
Oh, I have had to learn to bite my tongue because I say things that people will bring up years later.
It makes them rethink who they are as a person.
Yes, and that is my goal. If you get me to that point, yes. I'm not gonna talk about you physically, your looks.
No.
I'm going to go for your character
the
flaws.
core
of your being,
flaws.
and I want you to go to sleep in 4 years and be am I a terrible mother? Yes.
I know, and we're laughing about this, but that is real life. So it's only come up.
But we're not doing this unprovoked, just going around.
No, it's never
people.
unprovoked.
Ever.
It's never a superficial thing. It's a
justified.
deep. I feel it's justified, but also I'm in this whole bandwagon of is that really necessary? Is that really how I have to approach it? Is that the most effective way to handle these conversations? Because or is there a time and place leading up to it where maybe I come with more force or more anger, but not to the full peak of where it could hit. But with men, I don't give a fuck. If a man disrespects me, I am so quick to put them into their place. And I don't know what it is.
But I feel men need to learn shit from women.
And
they need to learn it in very direct ways. Because that is who they take serious as a fucking, not they don't take women serious who are shouting, but if you are very stern and direct and cold, it's but then you can walk away and distance yourself, that is when they take you seriously.
Yes.
But when you're like that and then you continue bothering them, they just see you as their nagging mother.
Yes. And then it turns into someone, but I think because women are so intuitive and actually truly
intuitive.
And one of the most powerful forces, I just watched the Da Vinci Code last weekend, and it's truly, I think women are divinity on earth. And so it's and we are the direct connection of God within this space is really what I believe. And the fact that we create life within our bodies is case in point.
And how anyone feels better around a woman.
Yes.
And anytime a man is unhappy, he's heartbroken by a woman, misses a woman, lonely, craving connection. Like, women bring life to this world, whether you want to admit it or
Mother
not.
Earth, like, it brings life. Like, Mother Earth is like connected to women and feminine energy for a reason.
But also your relationships with men, it's like, okay, that's like my man, but like your girlfriends are like the loves of your life. Yeah.
So in my mind, when I think, so that's what I was just thinking about. Like, when I'm super direct, it's almost like I feel like that's when I'm like, no, I'm here to teach you a lesson. Like, I need to give you some truth.
Listen up,
because,
motherfucker.
Yeah. I'm like, that's how I present it to you.
In your voice.
Yeah, like there's a different presentation when I bring this information.
Like your head turns on a swivel.
I'm sure that's what some of them thought. But I realize it, but I think, I don't know if I was always as intense as I am now, and I do think that stems from unhealthy patterning within like male dynamics within previous relationships, where I felt like I wasn't heard unless I was extremely direct and extremely assertive. So I'm also kind of being aware of that, and also not every man needs that extreme reaction in like presentation of information in order for it to be effective. And I'm also trying to date more sensitive, softer men. And I realize they really don't. And actually, you just really break them down, and they don't do well with it. Well, I've dated a lot of alphas. And so when an alpha, the only way an alpha respects a woman, especially if she's trying to show you some shit, is when you're like, no, this is what you need to do, and this is how you need to do it. No,
but the sensitive men are like shaking and like, I'll never talk to you again.
Yeah, because I'm terrified of you now, because like you hurt me and now I'm afraid. And so like, because a woman's extremely powerful, and also the power of your words. And so anyways, we're talking about anger. I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know. Because I'm like super nice and I'm so loving. People are like, I can never imagine you angry. And it's like, I don't really get that.
But we as humans have all the emotions.
Everyone has every emotion.
We don't just have the one emotion.
No, and I get real sassy and I'm talking a lot of shit. And I just like, I don't know, I'm like playful with it. And that's what I'm trying to do now is like, how do I get my point across and be a little bit more playful? And how do I not take it so seriously, but still be effective in my communication about it?
I feel like one thing that's helped me is literally just speaking my mind. Everyone, like my coworkers, people know me. I'm going to say what's on my mind. Yeah. But it helps me because a lot of the angry people I know are angry because of the things they didn't say. Yes. They're like, they tell me about these things. Like, I'm so angry about A, B, and C. And then you're like, did you tell them? They're like, well, no. No. And it just like builds up and festers inside of you. But the more you get out, it's like journaling. Like you feel more at peace when you journal. Like you let all of those thoughts out. Yeah. But like the more I speak my mind, the less angry I am. Also, screaming in the car and lifting weights.
Okay, and so that's why I'm like, how do I lean into releasing that energy, but also recognizing that when you're angry, like, and when you let it build up inside of you, there's like a somatic therapist it's a book, it's called The Body Keeps a Score. It's like we always are keeping a score of what's going on with our emotional state, and if you're not processing that and actually like relinquishing that type of negative energy, it will continue to circulate through you until you let it go.
And there's proof that angry people that have held on to anger get cancer. Like they're more likely to die early, heart disease. Like it's bad for you to hold all the anger in.
No,
tell a motherfucker how you feel.
Tell them how you fucking feel, and like, but in a kind, compassionate kind of way is what I'm learning. We're learning how to balance that out. But like, there is like, I do think it's powerful though. But how do you? Because like, I think of my daughter who is my little Aries baby, and she is, but when she was younger, she was such a little spitfire. She's just this little force. And now she's so sweet. Everyone's like, oh, she's the sweetest little thing. But like, when you say something, she like looks at you and she gets mad. I'm like, oh my God.
My daughter's at Aries mode. I know.
You're like, okay, but like, how do we channel that? How do you utilize this energy to be able to be constructive and helpful for you? How do you get shit done? How do you make change with fueling that type of energy towards productivity? So that's why I'm like leaning into it's something I'm more aware of, but I'm also recognizing the power of speaking up in the moment so that things don't create a story around it. Because more often than not, the anger and anxiety that we feel about something is actually attached to a story and a thought that we have around a situation versus that person or even what actually occurred. So like the faster you release that, the faster you can let go of it and actually then be freer and more liberated to live in the moment.
Absolutely. I just love it. She's so smart.
I was like, pain body. It's because I've been dealing with all these things around the time. I'm like, I refuse not to be joyous.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
like
but
I want
feel like
to
that
feel
is
joy.
the most Leo rising thing. Like they want to be a light in this world, and we are our best when we're happy. I mean, all humans are at their best when they're happy, but like if the Leo is the sun, it like radiates, and you are your best when you're happy.
It's true. And I am so emotional, and I feel like as a Cancer, I feel such a spectrum of emotions and such a depth of emotions that I can be in a real, like actually, like I had a few different astrologers tell me, like you actually feel like your baseline is actually extreme pain. So like really where I'm normally at is actually because I feel so many other people around me that like I identify and connect to people's biggest wounds is literally what I relate to the easiest. And that's also like my background. Domestic violence, sexual assault, like all of like, I'm like trauma, like I can literally connect to someone's trauma and hold space for them in that in a way that like, I just don't think is really like, it's unusual. It's a strength of mine. I see that now, but also I can just be in that space. Yeah. So all of this I've learned because I don't want to be in that space all the time.
Right.
And so a lot of people don't know that part of it because it's not the highlight reel that I want to necessarily talk about, but
it's real.
Girl, you don't even know. I'd be crying. I cry every day. Will cry every other day probably.
I cry once a week. It's good for you. Otherwise you get cry constipated.
We talked about this. Like sometimes I'll just put on a sad song just to feel it and let it go.
The day after you cry I have the best day ever.
You do. You feel such a relief. Cortisol actually gets released. So the stress hormone gets released from your body when you, in your tears. It literally gets extracted from your body.
Also, I like the little puffy look I get from crying my eyes out. And the next day I feel like I look really good. I like it. I'm like, skin. She had a bad night last night.
Oh my gosh.
If you are getting ready for like a really fun girls' day, or you're just gonna have you want to make sure you have a really good day. Yeah. What's a song you're gonna put on to like hype yourself the hell up?
Oh, it depends. It depends on my mood. It changes quite a bit.
Name a few.
Okay, I won't lie. I fuck with Dua Lipa. I love Dua Lipa. I think she's so fun and like.
She's a Leo.
She is a Leo. Yeah. She's a Leo Taurus.
Oh, she is?
We have 2 of the 3 same placements. And so I just like love her energy. I think she's
Which
so
song
fun.
by her?
Don't Start Now. If you don't wanna see it. Bella loves that song too. So I'll literally like put it on and I'll be like dancing around. That's one of my favorites. It's like a guaranteed like mood changer for me.
Good feel song, yeah.
Good, yeah, feel good songs. Honestly, I'm trying to think of like what other, like there's so what I do is I create a playlist for every year.
For a year? No.
Okay, I was like, I do it for every year. And so then that's like all my favorite songs that make my soul happy go into a year's. And so it's like you'll see on my Spotify, it's like each year has its own playlist. And so intuitively, usually depending on my mood, I'll just pick one of those playlists and then I'll put it on shuffle. And I kind of just ask God to be like, put on something that's gonna make me feel good. Cute. And then I put it on, but sometimes it's like a soulful ballad. Yeah. Sometimes a little Al Green. I love Al Green. I love Let's Stay Together. It's one of my favorite songs of all time. I'm trying to think of some other ones. I love Lizzo. I was actually in a really dark place, and Lizzo, what's that one song?
Is it when she was really getting big?
Yes, right. Because actually, funny enough, I saw Florence and the Machine in concert, and she opened for Florence and the Machine.
Lizzo?
Which are 2 totally different styles. But she opened for her, and
she has that one song in that Netflix movie. You know that like heartbreak movie? Yes.
Okay, that one.
Is that the song that's your favorite?
I'm trying to remember it. So that's one of my favorites, and I will literally put that in and like be whipping but it's like if your nails look like check your nails flip your hair. That's one. So that one. I'm trying to think like. Sorry, then it goes so far right. I was like Still Dre. By Dr. Dre is like also one where I literally will start dancing in my car. I was gonna say start sea walking in my car, but I can't do it while I'm sitting down there internally. I'm doing it.
I like the year thing though. I have this thing where when I listen to a song, I know exactly where I was when I heard that song. It's really weird. Yeah. So like a song, I can see myself in my old apartment like vacuuming. But really? One of mine is Never Say Never by Justin Bieber. That's a really good song.
I don't know if I even know what it is.
I feel like if I played it, you'd know it. He's with, what is it, Jaden Smith?
Jane. Oh, yeah.
They're on it together, and they're like little babies. It's hilarious.
My gosh. Okay, I'm gonna have to look it up. You'll have to say, I'm down to try it. I was like, I can't think of it off the top. I was like, I don't think I've heard it, but maybe once I heard it.
You've probably heard it. I used to, when I was intimidated at the gym, that song played, and I imagine all the like big, scary, burly men listening to that song, and it like helped me go over there and like get comfortable in the gym.
Really?
Yeah,
I love that. That's
funny.
what you were like. You're like, they're all listening to this song.
They're all listening to like City Girls or like Justin Bieber. That's so
gosh.
funny.
You know, also, okay, just now thinking of it, Hearts on Deck by LMA has been like one of my like favorite songs right now.
I'm trying to think if I've heard that. Is it from her new album?
It's from her new album. I love LMA too. I love, she's like and Cleo Sol. I was like, I'm a very like, but also put on like Erykah Badu. I saw her in concert. Fucking love Erykah Badu. So like, it just depends on my mood.
Yes, yeah.
There's a wide variety of people I'm going to lean into depending on where I'm at.
What did I see? It said, I fuck with all genres of music. Call me polyamorous.
Yeah, polyamorous. I did. I saw that too. That's so funny.
I was like, because you can put on anything, and if it's a good song, it's a good song.
I personally just love people that write their own music, and so I know Dua Lipa doesn't, but I was like, but I feel like she's just like she's a star, you know? Like I feel like she's.
I feel like you can feel when they can really relate to the song.
Yes.
Like Miley Cyrus, she puts her heart and her soul into her songs.
Yes, and I think that's what great music does. When you feel someone's heart and soul and what they're doing.
Goosebumps.
Yes, that's what I'm seeking. So I'll listen to any kind of music. If you can do that, I'll feel that from you, and like I will ride that train. Like, and I'm right there with you.
I love that. So she is like the most multifaceted. Like has so many sides to her. You have been doing yoga for what? How many years?
Oh, I was like, who are you talking about? I thought you were
Dua Lipa.
I thought you were talking about an artist. I was like, I can't wait for you to tell me more
That's
about
hilarious. You, Miss Girl.
Yes. I've been doing yoga. I've been practicing yoga since 2007. Which is almost 20 years now.
Damn.
And then I've been teaching yoga since 2012 was when I got trained. So then that almost 13 years now. And it's just kind of crazy to think about. I found it, as I've kind of been mentioning, I was going, like, when I was younger, I was a total party girl. I was like super fun, loved to go out, do all the things, but I was really unhappy. And so like the core of me was really insecure. The core of me was just not in a good spot. I feel like
that is most people who party 24/7. Like they're looking for that happiness.
They're trying to avoid.
I went through that too.
Yes, I was like, we're trying to numb the pain that you experience. And you don't want to think about the things. So I was at that stage of my life, and in all honesty, my ex and I had just really started seriously dating. We'd been together for probably like a year at that point. Really tumultuous relationship, and we kept breaking up, getting back together, all this stuff, and we're just partying and just like all about things. And so we were known for that couple that would end up getting a huge fight and like at the club, and like it was just not good. And so I've always worked out a lot, so I've always exercised, and so then because I just know how it makes me feel better, and little did I know it was a great grounding practice, but I went to yoga. I started going to Hot Yoga Queen Anne, and I started going. He bought me like a month membership for Valentine's Day, and I started going, and I was like, well, I want to make this worth it. So then I was like, it was like $100, which is funny because it's not even expensive for a membership now. Yeah. But like, so I started, it was $100, and I was like, I'm gonna go every day for the whole month, so that like you know how much like I appreciate you getting this for me, essentially. So I went pretty much every day the whole month. Literally came out the other side and was like, I have never felt more joy and like at peace and love in my life. And like all the teachers were super spiritual. So then they were talking about spirituality in them. I like tapped into all of it. And then I was like hooked. So that's when I became a teacher. That's when it changed the trajectory of my life 100%. And so that's actually why I became a teacher, was because I was like, if this inspired me, which I truly never thought that I would ever be in this good of a space. And most of my background was in counseling and education. So I was like, if I could bring this in and merge it with counseling, like how much of a difference would that make within people's lives, and how effective could this be in honestly helping more people find inner peace?
And so it inspired you to
do that for others. Everything, and mindset, and just recognizing the power of my mind. So like a lot of that's like based in Buddha. I was gonna say Buddhic. That's not Buddhism. Why Buddhist. That's why I was like, why am I not saying this correctly?
There's the word.
Buddhist philosophy. And so like just exercising that and not recognizing everything, like everyone's got shit in their life. So it's just like how you look at it and how you let it go, into the detachment aspect of it. And so I really leaned into all of that. And so I'm like one of those yoga teachers that you come to class and I like make you want to think about things. And
I love that.
And all my students, and that's why they come, I even was just talking to a student today and they're like, you never know the impact of your words. And actually I've known like 3 or 4 people that like, just within the last couple of months have come up to me like, hey, you said this and I so needed to hear that. And I don't think you really even understood the impact of what it was. And to be honest, I'm a channel. I don't know why I'm saying what I'm saying when I say it.
There's times I black out when I talk.
Yes.
When I did just the audio podcast, I'd black out.
Yeah. Cause like it's like it's not true. It's you, but it's not.
Yes.
And so that's what I tap into when I teach. And I feel like it's the most transformative way for me to teach and also the most impactful way for me to teach. And so to tie that all together, that's why I teach yoga. And that's also what I've found through yoga. And so I am hooked and I will do it for the rest of my life without a doubt.
And now Ferrah is in Seattle.
Yes.
And Ferrah is hosting a workshop.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So you said, I was like, yes, I am hosting a workshop. And that's exactly what the basis for the workshop is, called Ground and Elevate. So much of what I found within yoga, and it's so funny because I used to always seek this in relationships with others. And it was actually one of the things that drew me to my ex, but like, I love that he like was grounding for me and helped me down, but then also encouraged me and helped me fly. And so I used to always say, you're my rock and my wings.
That's beautiful.
But then it's like, can we be the rock and wings for ourselves?
Right.
So like, how do you ground yourself? How do you intentionally like calm your nervous system, and what practices do you utilize in order to do so? But then how are you speaking to yourself? How are you encouraging yourself? How are you living towards your passions? How are you bringing joy into your life and moving towards your goals? And how are you doing that in a systematic way? Because as I've explained, my Taurus moon, like I have an order of operations of how I operate my day each day. And it's literally shaped around these practices for myself. And so I want to be able to help others find that as well.
Beautiful. When is your workshop?
It is March 15th, 3 to 4 p.m. at Shefa Yoga Roosevelt over near Green Lake.
My first experience with yoga, like, so I always thought it was like, hippie and like, you're kind of like, woo woo. Yeah. I was actually staying at my ex's house and he got up before me and like laid out a yoga mat and like put a yoga thing on the YouTube channel.
No way.
And he was doing yoga and I was like, you do yoga? And it's like this, it's my Scorpio moon that wants to keep things private. I'm like about to describe him and I'm like, no. He's like this big 6'2", 6'3" man, like big stocky man, and he's doing yoga and he's like, what did he say? He like really loved it for like his mental and like flexibility. Yes. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, am a little ashamed to say that that's when I started respecting it. Because it was like, I don't know. I just had this idea that it was like,
it's very woo-woo, and I think especially like it's connected to like the hippie movement and like the 60s, and this is more lackadaisical.
And then just how it's
like
shown in movies.
Yeah, it's always like someone who's like, hey, welcome, like come do yoga with me.
Yeah, and then let's smoke some acid. I don't know how you do acid, but I did do a class with you. And I loved it. I felt high afterwards, which is like in a good way, like high on life.
The endorphin release. Yes. Yeah, you get an endorphin release afterwards. And actually, one time I did Molly. I was like, do I just say this on this? It was like years ago, and I had done it, and I remember anyways, someone popped in my hand. I was like, and so I did it, and then afterwards, I was like, you guys, this is so silly, and I was like, this is how I feel all the time. This is when I was doing yoga like 6 days a week, and I was like, I'm on an endorphin high 24/7, baby. I was like, you don't need to take Molly, just come to yoga.
Like a yoga pusher.
I know. I was like, so I run sales and operations for Hot Yoga Queen Anne and Shefa Yoga Roosevelt. I am a yoga pusher now because I'm like, no, seriously, just come do yoga. And I swear on my life, stop doing Molly. Just come to yoga, and you'll have it, and you won't have the down. I was like, because that's truly, it just increases the amount that has endorphins within your body, and you get the release, and also it's just good to turn your brain off. I think that's what I found.
Like being in your body.
Yes, because so often we're trapped in the thoughts in our mind and the chatter.
It's running like 24/7.
24/7. And so that was the first time where I could turn, and like astrology, all of the placements, like everything I've ever read, my mind is abnormally active. Like I am, my mind is like kind of hyperspeed and like all time. Like I'm not saying I'm super smart. I just like, it's honestly, it's a deterrent for most of the time for me to be effective because I'm thinking about so many different things. But like it's so hyperactive that it's really hard for me to sometimes stay focused, but also two, like I'm always jumping from one thing to the next. And I couldn't, I never felt calm because I had this like inner restlessness within me. And yoga is the only thing that I've really found that has helped that, and meditation. And honestly, going for long walks, any kind of physical activity.
Oh, I love walks.
Oh yeah, or journaling.
Yoga is your drug. I love that.
Oh, yoga is for sure. And now I'm doing it more, and I know when I just need a little boost. Like if I'm feeling kind of down, I'll go to yoga and it's like my whole day turns around. And I know a lot of people that are on antidepressants, and I'm like, just start coming to yoga regularly and I promise you it'll help. Because that's truly what I've used as like my like pharmacy to a certain extent.
My thing is a lot of people use antidepressants, yes, and it helps. I'm sure it helps.
No, not because I know a lot of people use it and they need it. But
it's a Band-Aid. It doesn't fix the root of the issue. And so if you go off antidepressants, the issue is still there.
Yes. And just to be clear, I am not a psychologist or psychiatrist.
Neither am I.
I know, it's like, just because, like, don't start taking your meds. And then be like, well, she told me I could just do yoga. So I was like, yeah, I worked in suicide prevention and very mindful of it. And also just recognizing the power of drugs on your psyche is, as that change happens, when you start taking them or go off of them, there is a pretty dramatic change that comes along with your hormones. But what I have done, like I do biohacking. So I truly like, I know what hormones are connected to certain things. So serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, and endorphins. And so like those are the like endorphins that we're essentially, or the hormones we're trying to activate that make us feel good. Yeah. So I literally just do all of the things I know to activate those hormones within my body all the time. And so then that way I'm actually giving myself a higher dose of them. Because essentially what they say of why people take antidepressants and why they take a lot of them for a multitude of reasons, but a large part of it is because they lack those particular hormones. Right. So it's like, I think I do, to be perfectly honest, I do think I like naturally lack those hormones within my body. So I have to actually actively do things to increase the production of them. So I just do biohacking, I do natural ways to do that. And so that's actually the basis for the workshop too, is how do you activate the feel-good hormones within your body naturally?
Oh, I feel like everyone in Seattle needs it, especially with our lack of sunshine.
And sunshine is a huge one. It's actually a huge one. It's a huge one. So I used to take sunshine breaks every year, and I would go to somewhere sunny, and I literally would just go somewhere that had a really great bed, and they had a nice pool, and I would just like sleep and lay in the sun for 3 days.
You would come home a new person.
I'm brand new. And that was like, it was like my cure-all. I was like, oh, I'm just going to do this every February is essentially when I would do it. I would plan it every year. And it literally turned my whole life around. And now I just know that that's what I need. But yeah.
Oh yeah. I love that. I've never called mine biohacking, but I do it very intuitively. Like, oh, I'm feeling terrible. Let me turn off my phone, go for a walk, or like, let me talk to someone, connection, whatever. But yeah, I never gave it a name.
Yeah, it's there's a science behind it, and it's definitely it's talked about, not as much as I feel like it should be. I bring it up a lot, but that's just because I've looked into it and I recognize like even oxytocin, because I'm a big touch person, and so oxytocin's the snuggle hormone, or like the love hormone that gets released. And so if you don't have a partner, then it's like, how do you get that released within your body?
Yeah, this winter was really hard for me.
But that's like real life. And so it's like having a pet, like having something that you can like hold.
I went to work and like was like this with my coworkers, like touch me,
hug me. It's like hugs, and like hugs a big part of it. Like, and so like all of those things can be ways that you activate it. And even just genuine intimacy and connection. So even if you're not connecting in a physical sense, if you're connecting with someone in like over a conversation or a deep conversation, that can be a way that we release it too. So like, so anyways, I've looked into all of them because I'm like, I'm feeling this intuitively. I think I'm guided towards it, and it's a pretty natural part of my life. But especially if you're figuring it out and you've never done it before, you don't know, and you're just like, I'm just feeling off or funky. So like, what do I do? Go through all of those, and like, you'd be surprised. Like, look up how to activate serotonin, dopamine, endorphins, and oxytocin in your body. A whole slew of research. Actually, on my pod, I have like feel good hormones is like a whole episode, and so I talk about it. So yeah.
Okay, your very last question.
Yes.
If you had to one night only, you had to be a stripper.
I used to say I wanted to be a stripper when I was younger.
It was mainly the attention. I was like, yeah, let me go
Leo,
out there.
Leo, he was like, yes,
Shocker.
everyone stare at me as I dance around. Hence the reason
eyes
why we
on
go
me.
to a club and we're dancing, the only two people dancing in the middle.
We have a great time.
That's like real life. That's real life. Okay, sorry, keep going.
What would your stripper song be? You're like, DJ, turn on, and it's gonna like get you in your feels.
Oh my god, and you might agree with me, Love in the Club by Usher.
Oh my god! That is my song.
I know, only because that one or so this is kind of inappropriate for me to say, but I don't give a fuck. I used to give a lot of lap dances to partners, and so I was like, that is like a part of the experience. This is a part of the experience of dating me. Not that I'm plugging myself. I'm not dating right now. Side note, I'm not dating right now.
My DMs.
I know, sliding my
DMs. The position.
I'm actually consciously taking a break from men right now for a month during the Venus retrograde. I am trying to reevaluate how I approach intimacy and the relationship with self. So I'm consciously not answering DMs.
So don't slide in.
Don't slide in my DMs. Wait until the end of next month. I was like, wait until the end of April. No, I'm just joking. So that's like something I'm working on. But in particular,
you gave lap dances.
But I do give lap dances, or I've given a lot of lap dances, and that was one of my favorite songs. Mine by Bazzi.
Yes, I like that song. My song is "Me and You" by Cassie.
Oh my gosh.
I love that song.
Okay, I have PTSD from that song because when I was dating this guy, when we kind of broke up, this is like a drama thing. When he broke up, I like knew who he was like interested in, and so obviously it went on a very deep spiral afterwards.
Obviously.
Like, I was like, I do tend to go on a deep spiral. I'm better about it now, but I can. And right when we broke up, she changed that to her song.
Oh, fuck.
On MySpace. So I know
you bitch.
You bitch. Fuck you. They're actually married now.
You loyal bitch.
But I was like, oh, I won't even go into details about how that all transcended. But
damn, she ruined the song for you.
She ruined the song, and it's actually a great song. It's a great song. And so then after that, I have such a visceral reaction whenever I hear it. I'm better about it now, but for a long time, I literally, as soon as it would come on, I would have to change it.
Oh no!
Because of how much it bothered me.
Okay, so when you and me have to strip one day, we will play Love in This Club because me and you won't work.
Me and you. Oh, well, yeah. Honestly, I think now I don't have as much of a reaction to it.
But also, Love in This Club is like a song you feel like in your soul. Like when that song comes on, it kind of feels like nothing else matters in the world. That's such a good song.
It's such a good song. Honestly, when I saw Usher in concert,
we went the same night.
We went the same night. Any Usher song, truly, I could do a strip. Like I would, and the whole fucking concert, I was like, why am I turned on the entire time I'm here?
It was, and every song, it just kept getting bitter and bitter.
Yes. And then
we had we were like 2 bottles of champagne, and it was just a great time.
If
he goes in concert again, I would go again.
Oh, I would go without a doubt. Honestly.
It was so fun.
It was so fun, and they talked about it. His show down in Vegas was so good too. And now,
I wanted to do the residency,
me too.
And that's actually why I went to the concert because I saw he was such a good performer.
Yeah,
I've been to concerts where they're shitty performers, and I'm like, that was a waste of like 2 hours of my life.
Yes, well, and I always love live music, but I feel like you should connect with an artist when you go see him live, and I felt like I know Usher better after seeing him live, and also
I have a deeper love for him.
Deeper love, yes, truly, samesies. So okay, but yes, okay, sorry.
Oh, I love that. Well, on that note, where can your new lovers and friends find you?
Oh yes, I'm on the gram, Ferrah Shino, FerrahShino. I found it recently that I actually had the wrong name, so we just changed all of my branding for it. It was a rebrand. Also, it was needed rebrand. There's a lot of things that shifted in my life. New energy, new life. So you can find me on the gram. You can find me on YouTube, Meeting Your Soul Podcast, and then also Ferrah Shino .com is my website if you want to look into coaching with me. I have a bunch of free stuff that's on there as well, and you can just research just ways to help ground yourself and hopefully break through any kind of limiting beliefs that you might be experiencing.
Oh, I love. What's your YouTube?
Ferrah Shino. It's all the same.
We love.